"Oh no, I couldn't possibly afford that." Of course, we would all be wealthy if we had $1 for every instance where we have heard this statement. Note that the word statement is used here instead of objection. More on that in a moment. For now, however, let's ask ourselves, do all of our guests immediately understand the explanations that we are sharing with them? Unfortunately, of course, the answer is no. This applies to even the most effective communicators among us. We may take for granted that what we have just reviewed is self-explanatory. But remember, our guests don't do this every day, and they may just be a little stressed out to boot. This is particularly applicable to our menu presentation. Their statement may be tabled just as we are finishing our first column overview. Perhaps we are allowed to review the entire menu before the statement is tabled. Unfortunately, though, it happens. Our guest responds with, "Oh no, I couldn't possibly afford that," or some similar sentiment. We may be prone to misinterpreting this statement because our guest could be stressed out. After all, folks who find themselves in stressful situations may go to some length to avoid displaying any confusion. Therefore, the usual tells may be missing. As a result, we may misidentify a communication error as an objection. This is a problem. Naturally, the next thing that happens is a flurry of objection handling techniques that would otherwise be completely avoided if the real problem was identified. What's really happening? Very often, our guests think that the payment at the bottom of the menu column is in addition to the base payment. These communication misunderstandings are witnessed almost weekly when sitting in with business managers. Therefore, perhaps we could consider the implementation of a nearly automatic communication enhancing response before any closing retorts. We will use this regardless of what we think the objection may be. It will go something like, "Michael, I've got great news. The payment you see here is your total payment, including your new vehicle." Once said, we won't be surprised to hear Michael respond, "Oh, I thought it was this in addition to that payment," stated while he refers to the column payment plus the base payment listed in the mandatory disclosures. We will possibly even follow his statement with something along the lines of, "Oh no, it's nearly half as much. Certainly that will work for you." As reviewed, this is seen with tremendous regularity, so it may be happening with your guests as well. Let's seek to clarify that a communication error does not exist before attacking a problem that may not be present. After we have verified that what we have is not a communication miscue, we will seek to share ideas with our guests. An effective educational reference that used to be seen with more regularity is the stapler. Michael, if you'll allow me to use an analogy, not very long ago we could have possibly considered many of the systems on a typical vehicle not dissimilar from the stapler, at least from a diagnostic and repair point of view. In other words, if this stapler jams and quits working, we open it up, see the jam, and repair the issue. Now, it practically takes one of these to run our stapler, so to speak. The level of computerized sophistication that may be involved in your new vehicle has reached never-before-seen levels. Unfortunately, we can't open this up like we do the stapler to see the jam. In fact, it may be very hard to even determine which of the many computerized systems on board is responsible for the fault, leading to expensive diagnostic charges as well. Our labor rate is blank dollars per hour. Once the failure is identified, you can probably guess what the related expenses will be where the required parts are concerned. Once added together with the labor costs, things oftentimes become shockingly expensive. And while we're on the subject of mobile phones, we have probably noticed them holding theirs. Does it have a case? They nearly always do. Is a protective package of any kind being offered? What is the typical price of a mobile phone currently? $1,200? What is a good case? $50? That's 1/24 the price of the phone. Chances are we can offer a much better cost-benefit ratio related to our protection package. And phones are far less expensive to replace than vehicles when you think about it. Therefore, if they aren't leaving their phone exposed, why on earth would they leave their vehicle exposed? Think about it. Clarify, then implement. Good luck and good selling.